This is Mario with MIA Microflight, and I have been working on some small projects such as this little train set here for my grandkids lately. And I have been designing my own, as well as using some parts that I got from Thingiverse to improve on some of these tracks that that you can purchase, from online or Amazon, where I got my original parts. The wooden tracks is what I'm talking about specifically. So I want to show you some of the main differences between those tracks and tracks that are 3D printed. Now, this is a box full of tracks from various companies that I purchased to get me started, or at least get an idea of what these things were about, because I don't remember my kids having tracks like this exactly when they were little. But now that we have grandkids, I decided to purchase these to see if we can set up a little table like you see it here, and play with them when they come home to visit. And so I bought a bunch of these, but the only issue that I have with these things, I mean, they're great little tracks, for somebody that just wants to get this going and set this up rather quickly. But being more mechanically inclined, and I like precision in the parts that I purchase, and the things that I do. This was throwing me off here. As you can see, a lot of these blocks are loosely interconnected, and I think they do this because little kids, they need to have this level of flexibility here, so these parts are easy to install, and they can move them around, and so the little kids can do it themselves. But being that I like more precision in these parts, and being that I assemble these things for my kids, and they don't have to assemble it, so I decided to go online and see what was available. And sure enough, there's a lot of people that are making these tracks in 3D printed. And so I found one that I thought was one of the better pieces. And this particular designer has all these pieces here. They have bridges, and they have curves, and they have straights. And so that's what you're seeing here in this particular track here that you see here. What I did not see is bridge posts such as this one, so I ended up designing my own to fit this particular one, and I also ended up designing my own connectors here, because I didn't see any connectors with this particular set of tracks here. So I went on and took some measurements and designed my own. These are very, very close tolerance fit, but being that the type of clip or connector that it is, it allows itself to have some flexibility in connecting the pieces, while being also able to be removed rather easily. A little kid is probably not going to be able to do this by himself or herself, because this does require a little pressure, an adult hand to press these things together, and also to remove them. And so I created this for this particular track, which is not mine, but the connector is mine, and this post is also mine, and I have these in various heights, so that I can do second levels, third levels, even what you can go nuts with these things. But I started with these. These are all of the same height, and this was to basically just support this curve here. As you can see, this track has got 4 sections that are done with these bridges here, and some rounds, or half rounds, or quarter rounds. I believe this is done in quarters. And so that is the track that you're seeing here, with the red parts being my own design. Now you're also seeing here this track here, which I created from the bottom up. This is my own track. I created this from scratch. As I did this little train here, this is all scratch design and built. And so this, I already showed this in some other videos, so I'm not going to go too much into the details or show the mechanics of this, because you can see those other videos on my YouTube channel. But this is my track, and the way I did this, I did it with these interlocking tabs, and I also did it with these little retainers here. So if you were to run this, if you were to make sure that this track is properly connected, it got a little disassembled as I was laying this other one here. Just as a test layout to see how this is going to end up on a table like this, and to see how I can also add some additional tracks here. So when this is properly connected and set up, these are interlocking pieces. These little gray pieces come back here and they form not only a retainer, but the way I designed these is with this little tiny hole here that you can put a brad here. And if you're going on a plywood or even foam, you can just pin it down here and it'll retain the junction of these two pieces here. And I have the same thing throughout the whole track. As you can see, those great little pieces, that's what that's for. And so it's a way to retain the track from moving and keep the connection here secure. So that's my track. These are that's my train set, and these are my cars. All the red parts, like I said, are mine. What you see also here is another track that I downloaded from Thingiverse. This is more in HO scale. So this is I did this track just to see how well this track was designed, and it's an excellent track. If you go online on Thingiverse, you'll probably see this track from I forget the name of the designer that did that track, but it's an excellent track. Very detailed track, and it works. I already did a little car, non-motorized, but just to test the movement of the car on the tracks, with the wheels and the way he's got those designed. Very nice setup here. Those little cars that you see here are my own also design. So you're seeing a mixture of designs here. So like I said, this is from Thingiverse. The red parts are mine. That's from Thingiverse. That I did it just to see how they would look. But that's too detailed and elaborate and a little more delicate than these tracks here for kids. We're talking about my grandkids are near a year old. They're still little, for this type of track. But they're going to get there very soon, and they decided to get a little bit ahead and start building these things. So when they come home here for the holidays, for Christmas in particular, they'll be we'll all be having a lot of fun with them running these things, and we can all interact as a family unit. So that's the reason why I was getting ahead of these things. And since these were already done, I decided to download these, but I had to make these little connectors and posts to establish what you see here, those corners there. And so I'm trying to build this with the same particular track, but in trying to test all these tracks and see which one would lend itself much better, I ended up designing also my own track, and I'm going to show you that. If I can get this. Move these things away. I have to put the pen down for a minute. Okay. Yeah, my phone's still recording. So yeah, this is my other track that I did. With the wooden concept in mind, wooden track in mind, but you can see how I went ahead and I went and slotted the tracks, and I did it in white because I like working with this white PLA. It's from Anycubic, and my machines are Anycubic, and they print very nice. So I basically took the wooden concept along with some of these 3D printed designs, and I went one step further to slot this, and I did this just to save on material, save time in printing, and also to provide a point of support for these towers here. And these are towers that I also designed these to match my track with. So there are various heights so that I can angle the track and I can do bridges and all kinds of things. But the beauty about this is that this slot right here allows the track to pivot So I don't need any special connectors. I did do a much earlier design with connectors, and it was getting too much with those screws, connectors, so I decided just to slot the track and allow that to be the pivoting point as you see it here. And so this is my own track based on the wooden tracks, but also inspired by a lot of these 3D printed tracks that people have on Thingiverse. So why am I not printing this instead of this track is because this track has the bridges, and I have yet to do my own bridges. I'm working on that. Eventually I will grow this, with my own track, and I'll have another level with this particular track here. So it's a mixture of tracks that I want to implement here just to make it a little more diverse. This is a bridge that I also designed, and I have little buildings and homes, houses that are designed to this scale here, so the kids can play with these things here, like those little mini go-karts that I designed for this track right here. They're kind of in the same scale and the same kind of approach. These things have to be safe for little kids, so you can't make these things with too many loose parts. So I also did these to test on a new machine that I've been trying to see if I can get it to work, to the standards of the machines that my older machines, the Anycubics. But unfortunately, that machine is not providing the same level of output as my older machine. So it's a machine that I'm going to be returning and probably getting another one, or just building a much larger machines. More than anything, I need a larger machine that is precise. And so I'll probably be building my own machine as I built CNC machines with the same idea. By not finding exactly what I need, I end up building my own stuff. So that's what you're seeing here, and I wanted to make this video just to talk about these differences here of these tracks. These parts right here I printed just to see what size and how they would fit in a sort of a little more complex track, but I think I'm going to remain just with curves and straights and just crossovers, and not go too crazy with these parts right here. Or we'll see what happens, because I'm still printing some curves and straights, as well as some more of these my own track right here with the slots here. So eventually, I don't know, I may end up, just once I have enough parts of these, I probably will be replacing this track here, because this track is not my own, and I just like using parts downloaded from Thingiverse, because they're not my own. They're not my own designs, and I feel bad when I use things like that in projects like this. So I'd rather use my own stuff and take it from there. That way I can control, I can control taking apart. I can also modify it. With these things, you can't modify them, because you're stuck with the design. They only give you the STL file, and you don't have any other files to modify them. And I'd rather start from scratch, like I did this particular train. This particular train will look very similar to some other stuff that is out there, but it's got its own little life and design elements that you can only get from myself, and from a company like myself and my Microflight. I don't plan on selling this, by the way. So this is not for sale. It's strictly for personal use. All these things are for personal use, just to have a little more fun with my kids. I could refine this to a point where I can sell these as kits, but that's not my intention. I'm done with that. I still sell the Microlights, Ultralights, and I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it at that point. I'm at that point. I've been running MIA Microflight for 23 years, and I've done a lot of cool stuff, beginning with the sub-micro palm-sized helicopters, and then I went on to the Microlights, Ultralights, auto gyros, things that I had planned way before I started my company, back in the late 70s, early, when I formulated my business plan to do not this type of work, but to do scale models, and mainly aircraft, things of an aeronautical nature that nobody was paying attention to, or doing it to the level that MIA Microflight has been doing. So So yeah, it's kind of I'm more relaxed these years because I'm rather retired, even though we still need we still have to work, just to keep the mind in moving order. You can't stop. Just because you're retired doesn't mean that you need to stop, or I'm not a traveling person. I don't care to travel the world. There are people that like to do that. I rather invest my time and my keep my brain working in fun things, fun things that my family can enjoy. Especially kids. I love working with with kids in this respect, and what better kids than my own, from my own family. So that I'm pretty sure a lot of people would probably understand that, if you're of that mentality. So anyway, I wanted to show this and some of the cool stuff that I've been working on. Mario with MI Microfly, once again, stay tuned for more.